Hello, Facebook fans, YouTube fans. It is time for Tuesdays with DX Engineering. This is a very informative show where we talk about things that are going on at DX Engineering, and we've got one of our smart guys on. Well, we have lots of smart guys, but Rod has been with us for a long, long time. Welcome to Kate RR. Hello, Rod.
Hey, how you doing, Tim? Good to hear from you, and it's good to be here.
Yeah, and it's great for the fall season is getting cranked up, and boy, those antenna projects we got to get them done. And I really like the topic that you picked today, which is receive antennas. And not all receive antennas are created equal, right?
That's true. I mean, the places that we put our antennas are critical on making sure that they work right, and even some of the longest, oldest hams aren't aware of how important it is to position your main transmitting antenna away from the house, away from metal structures, but even more so, the benefits of a receive antenna. A specific small antenna that's designed for picking up all the different frequencies across HF. And it gives us a real edge over great big transmit antennas that can pull in a lot of noise.
That is a really good point. Noise. I know we hear from customers, and I know here at K3LR, noise is really can really be a problem, especially all the things LED lights and wall warts and all sorts of even some power line stuff from time to time, but all sorts of electronic equipment can affect our ability to hear. And how many times, Rod, somebody gets a brand new radio and a new Yaesu radio, and they turn it on, or an ICOM radio, turn it on, only to hear S9 noise on the receiver.
It's a problem for a lot of hams, and it all has to do with the fact that the main antenna or even a receive antenna is not located in just the right spot. Now, for a lot of folks, you go out, you put up a dipole, you put up a tower and a beam, and you just happen to live in a place where there is noise, and you have to deal with that one way or the other. Either track down the source of the noise, or try to get it solved, figure out where it's coming from. But in a lot of cases, you could just simply position your main antenna farther away from the house or farther back in a yard, so that it's not picking up the noise that's coming from your house, that's coming from the neighbor's house, or from the electrical system. And so if we're stuck with a transmit antenna that's on a tower, or it can only be placed in one particular position in our lot, in our on our property, around our house, on the house, wherever it happens to be, the next step in creating a better receive situation would be to get a separate low noise, smaller receive only antenna and place that way out back in the backyard, as far away from the noise sources, the house, the transmit antenna, and the tower, which can all induce noise right into the receive antenna.
Right. And, Rod, I know this, I want to make sure that we repeat this over and over and over again. You got to make sure you stay away from power lines when you're working on your antennas. Whether you're putting up an antenna or taking down an antenna, power lines, you've got to stay well away from 2 times the distance. And it's really, really important to do that. The other thing is, Rod, some radios do not have the receive antenna port broken out.
That's true.
And we do here at DX Engineering, we've got the RTR. You want to explain how the RTR can help somebody, a ham that has a radio, and it's a good radio, but the receive antenna is not broken out.
That's right. It's a new take on an old thing that was called the TR switch. Back in the day, guys had separate receivers and transmitters, and they had to use a relay to switch the antenna between those two things. Now we have a transceiver that takes care of that part, but we don't have a port on all of the radios, like, say, for example, the FTDX10 or the IC7300 doesn't have a separate receive input. And so we have the DX Engineering RTR2 that can allow you to connect the main from the antenna and the main connection of the radio, but also connect a receive antenna that we put way back in the back of the backyard. And that is fed with low cost DX Engineering RG6U UFQ. It's a flooded quad shield cable, and then it connects right there to the receive antenna input on the back of the RTR. And another great aspect of that is it handles the keying line from the radio in order to make the change between listening to the main antenna or transmitting on the main antenna without hurting the receive antenna, and then switching back over to the receive antenna when you're not transmitting. The accessory PTT output can go to your amplifier, but this device always goes between the radio and the amplifier, or just at the output of the radio and the main antenna connects to it if you don't have an amplifier. Then at the other end of that feed line, you would use the DX Engineering RCEV1, the receive short element active vertical is one choice. Or of course, you could also put in place with the appropriate connections the RF Pro 1B active magnetic loop for receive purposes, which can get a little more complicated because you should rotate that to maximize the receive. But the receive one is a short 8.5 foot vertical, and it has an active device at the bottom. There it is on the screen now, and that connects with your RG6. It mounts on a ground rod at ground level. It virtually disappears into the background, which I have on the screen over here, and you could just have it back there, away from the tower, away from the transmit antennas, and have this one vertical, or even a couple of them connected to an NCC2 to pick up, receive from across the HS spectrum, even down into the AM broadcast band, and have much lower noise coming in, while you can still hear a lot of, if not most of, the signals. In a lot of cases, I've had the joy of using the receive active vertical and hearing stations that I couldn't hear on my transmit antenna because of the noise level on the transmit antenna. And that means that you could hear and make contacts that you wouldn't otherwise be able to hear on only your transmit antenna.
Right. And there's lots of information about this topic on our website, on our blog, onallbands.com. There are several articles written about receive antennas. And then there's lots of papers that WHAI and K9YC have talked about, some wire antennas like beverages on the ground, simple antennas, very low cost, that can be a big help as well. I want to go to the chat room here real quick, Rod, and see what's going on. X-Ray Echo 2 Zulu is on again from Mexico. Jason, Kilo Delta 2 Uniform Delta Radio. Our good friend Scotty Meyer, part of the DX Engineering sales team, Kilo Golf 9 Zulu. Rodney, Alpha Echo 5 Tango X-Ray says, S7 to S8 noise floor here since the city installed an LED street light directly behind my QTH. My new FT710 can only operate on FT8 currently. May have to go to Parks on the Air for making SSB contacts. The HOA QTH NFED half wave, 71 feet. So it sounds like Rodney's got some challenges with noise. And we have Brent on here with us. Nice to see you. Gary, W9 X-Ray Tango, he reminds us it's not the signal strength, but it's the signal to noise ratio that determines if you can make a contact, both on the transmit and receive sides. Bob the Traveler, that's WD8 November, Victor November. Bob says, I want a BevFlex 4X system at the W9DXCC last weekend in Chicago. And of course, the BevFlex is made by Gary, W9XT, and sold here at DX Engineering. So take a look for BevFlex, BEVFLEX, a really super receive antenna system from Costa Rica. It's Tango India 2, Mike Oscar Tango on with us as well. Rod, it wouldn't be a Tuesday show if we didn't talk about coax. And so I want to, one of the really nice features of the DX Engineering website is all these charts and guides. And so I want to bring up the Parky KV8UUZ does these, and they're so good. But why don't you explain real briefly, Rod, the DX Engineering coaxial cable reference chart?
Sure. All put into one place. You can find out all of the specs about each of the DX Engineering coaxes, and it's very helpful to see how much loss there is. But don't get hung up on the loss, because sometimes people put too much into that. There is the issue of the added losses with high SWR on transmit systems. But on receive systems, we could use RG6 for very long distances, hundreds of, if not even 1,000 feet out to any type of receive antenna, whether it's a receive one, RF Pro 1B loop, or any of the others like the BevFlex and other beverage antennas. One of the advantages of some of the smaller antennas that we talked about, the smaller receive antennas, is that they don't take up very much space, but yet they pick up a lot of signal. So on that coax cable reference chart, you can see how big it is, how long, how much loss there is, what it's made from, everything that you need to know about all the DX Engineering coaxes.
And of course, if you have any questions about this, you can always call in and talk to Rod or one of the other guys here on the DX team, and they'll walk you through what the best coax is for your particular situation, because we know not everybody is the same. I've got back to the chat room here. Our good friend from Nebraska, it's Joe, K0 November Echo Bravo is on with us. And from Alabama, it's Ron, November 9 Fox Oscar Delta. And our friend Michael, young Michael out of Zillionople, Pennsylvania. Hello, all. This is W3 Mike Lima, Japan. DXE coax is the way to go. We are using it later this year since it's very reliable and high quality assembly. Michael and his friends are going down to the British Virgin Islands, Rod, for the CQ Worldwide contest.
Oh, and that's great.
They've got all their DX Engineering coaxes ready to go, and they'll be down there having a super time. Jacob is on Alpha India 5 X-Ray Radio. And Brent, his call is Kilo Fox 8 Delta Queen United. My noise levels are different at different times. Is this the bands or my antenna? I have an end-fed 53-foot long, 27-foot high. The box is mounted at the house, and the other end is on a rope to a tree. And, Rod, when we're thinking about noise at different times, 80 meters noise day versus night, and then back to all those electrical components, right?
That's right. Sometimes there's going to be different noises that come from the house or from the electrical lines at different times of the day because of the use and because of the propagation. Now, band noise can propagate in from far away or from several miles away down the electrical lines on the low bands. That changes on the high bands. It depends on the frequency as well, and of course which antenna is responding to which noise. So this is a case where for KF8 DQU, if he were to move the antenna to another place where the feed point is not next to the house, he might find that he doesn't have as much noise, or it doesn't have it at the times when he's trying to operate. Whereas a receive antenna located in another position, if this antenna is working very well for transmit, the receive antenna in a different position, a different part of the yard, could do wonders. And for the other person who commented that they could actually make use of the RTR2 with their FT710 to split between the transmit antenna that's working and bring in some type of receive antenna that's located elsewhere to have a different result. And it sometimes is kind of revolutionary. Sometimes it saves the hobby for some hams when they go to use a receive antenna located in another part of the yard, or even another part of the house if they can't put anything outside. That can save the hobby because they can get a reception from an antenna that's not picking up the noise.
There you go. And back to the chat room. We've got Kilo Bravo 7 Alpha Zulu on from Tucson. And our good friend Paul, November 6 Papa Sierra Echo, is also on with us today. Paul, great to hear from you, and looking forward to hearing about DXpeditions coming up. And Chris, he must have got up to take the dog out. It's 3:30 in the morning in Australia. And he's watching us live here, Rod, from Melbourne. And that's Victor Kilo 3 Fox Yankee. So shout out to Chris. And so I hope all of you maybe have learned some things, maybe some hints on how you can deal with noise at your station. And we want to make sure that if you have any other questions, follow up, you can email us, call us, and we'll do everything we can to help you have more fun with the best hobby in the world. Thanks for coming on today, Rod.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tim. It's been great.
And thanks to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time here at DX Engineering. Until then, 73.